Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of This Week in Flyers Hockey. And man, we got a lot to get to on this show. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you. And joining me once again is my group of companions, Austin Hammel and Joey Marks, on this very important Martin Luther King Day. Gentlemen, how are we doing, especially that the week that was in the Philly sports scene? Not a good week for Orange and Black, but hopefully you guys are doing well on this very important Monday.
Whiskey
Yeah,
sales are up in the Marks household. That's
Yeah,
all I can tell you is whiskey sales are up in the Marks household. But
yeah,
there is a lot to get to. James, I feel like we're back in last season
yeah.
with
Groundhog Day
two
again.
goaltenders that don't really belong in the starting pipes. So
Yeah,
that's where we are.
yeah, this is where we are, absolutely. And I probably need some Jack Daniels with something else in it to keep me sane throughout all this. But basically it's gonna be a State of the Union show here today for the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously, not looking good right now, like Joey mentioned, with the two goaltender situation, and obviously the injury bug continuing to linger. So I'll ask you guys the first important question here. Is there any way the Flyers can just come back out of this? I mean, is there any positivity to come out of this? Because I mean, I'm trying to look for this positivity, but every time I try to look for a positivity, the thing that makes it even worse is that it gets worse there every game. Joey, I'll ask you the first question here. What the hell can we do next with this Flyers team at this point?
Hope and pray Dan Villard can come back quickly.
Right?
Because right now he seems we talked about this a couple shows ago. We asked the question, who was the biggest acquisition or has been the game changer on this team since the offseason, from the offseason? And it's been Dan. Some of us said Dan Villard, some of us said Zegras. But it's Dan Villard. I mean, like,
Yeah.
here's my feeling on this. When you take him out of the equation like he is right now, you are left with two goaltenders that Sam Harrison has had moments of shining through, but
Everybody does.
if you have a good team, he makes it difficult on himself, and then forget it, Kozlov. Um,
Yeah, that
it,
was an
it
excellent way to happen.
I mean, I've said this to you last season, James.
Yep.
He's not an NHL goaltender.
Nope.
Him or Fatotov, they can get lucky, but the problem is they are not NHL starting goaltenders,
Right.
and so we learned that the hard way last season, and now we are learning it again this season. And we're on this losing skid. And we said it earlier again in the season. We were like, at least this team doesn't go on 10 game losing streaks. Well, we got to
Scratch
hope that
that.
that we, we, we got to hope that that does not happen. And
Yeah.
that, we have 9 more games until the Olympic break. We need to do as much damage uh, to help ourselves sustain a playoff spot going forward. And that starts with the goaltenders.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'll ask you the same question here. What can the Flyers do next to try to nurse this hangover at this point?
yeah. It like Joe said, it's going to be a lot of hoping and praying. You really hope that Vladar can come back soon. I'm hearing word that Bobby Brink may be back this week at some point,
Okay.
coming back from his injury. I did hear before the game against New York, Ristolainen was scratched with an upper body injury. He's probably going to be out for at least a week. So it's just right now, it's hoping that your guys that are injured come back and are good to go. And Vladar, especially, like Joe said, we talked about a couple weeks ago what the big storyline was for Philadelphia this year, and we all agreed that it was the signing of Dan Vladar and seeing him flourish into a number one goaltender.
Sure.
You really can't get a lot going without him in net, and it's becoming more and more apparent. We're on the back heel right now on a 6-game losing skid.
Mm,
And all of those games could have easily been a lot closer or even a potential win if Vladar's in net.
Mm.
Like, it's just, you can tell that there is a gross, stark difference between how this team plays with Vladar in net and without. And it's becoming
absolutely.
more and more obvious.
Has any injury news come out about Abel?
Apples?
About Obels, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything, but let me actually
Because I
double
know
check
he left the
the
Rangers game with that knee or ankle issue.
Mm.
He got his skate got caught up on the ice, and I wasn't sure if he was out or if because we talked about it with Ristolainen. He's been Bobby Brink.
Yeah, Rusto can't stay healthy. That's the thing. It's I love Rusto, but it's actually like starting to become like every time when he's healthy, like you have to be on the edge of your seat if he's going to stick around for another few games before he gets hurt again.
And I mean, some of the injuries that have happened, it's kind of tested our depth. And for the most part, we've been okay. But I'm not trying to test it, too deep. I'm not trying to go 10 deep into the AHL and hope and pray that we still get guys that come up like Grunderson and Barkey. We can't get them all the time.
Yeah, it's being reported that Rodrigo Abels has been replaced on the Latvian Olympic team, which suggests that he's not expected to be healthy before Olympic time comes around. So it's looking to be a bit of a long-term injury for him.
Damn, this injury bug continues to linger on this team.
Ristolainen was placed on injured reserve on Saturday. So that's going to be another extended stay there for him, more than likely. Vladar was, there's no actual update per se, but he's listed on injured reserve as of today, the 19th. Same thing with Abels. Risto was put on there on the 17th. So it's we're losing some key heart pieces right now. Getting Bobby Brink back is going to be huge this week if he does come back this week. They're saying that Vladar is going to travel with the team, see how his therapy continues, and there's a strong possibility that if he is good to play, Tocchet will let him go. But if he's not feeling up to being able to play, then he's not going to make the travel.
Sure.
So it's going to be a wait and see kind of thing. And like I said, you're going to be probably crossing your fingers so hard they might snap in half at this point. It's bit of a rough run for Flyers hockey right now, but you really hope they can turn it around before the break and then be able to regather afterwards and be able to make a push, because right now you're sitting 5th in the Metro. You're still looking at potentially being able to claim a playoff spot by the end of this season. You just have to get your pieces back, and you have to continue to play the style of hockey that you can play when you have the pieces there.
Right. Yeah. So I'll say this about the last couple games or so. Obviously, I think obviously, I don't want to blame the injuries on so much the lack of the team has played, but I see these games, and I was watching the highlights. I didn't see the game on Saturday because I was basically taking a nap for a little bit. And 3 goals in a matter of 3 shots. It's unacceptable. I mean, that's the thing. It's just it's unacceptable to see 3 goals before you even blink. It's okay, it's 1-0, and the next thing you know, you're not even in your seats yet, and then it's 3-1. It's what the hell happened? Yeah. I mean, that's the craziest part about it with this team is that it's all
4 goals, 3 minutes,
it's all mixed up right now. What's that?
4 goals in 3 minutes and 23 seconds of game.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
dude, that's and that's the thing too. I mean, I know you want to try to you want to try to get it. You're trying to do the best you can and try to nurse the injuries that you're in place, though. But like you said, Joe, Kolosov is not the goaltender. I mean, yeah, he's good in the minors, but he's bad in the pros. I mean, that's we were preaching about it last year, and the same thing that happened. Well, I mean, look, Ersin, that's going to be Ersin's going to be whatever he's going to be. But overall, I mean, the injury bug. I'm not blaming the injury bug on this partial game, but tonight with Vegas, I can easily see Vegas going to town on the Flyers tonight more than anything.
Yeah.
That's going to be an accident waiting to happen, guys.
This is the problem, especially with, Ristolainen being out and whatnot. You put with these kind of goaltenders that you're fielding with Kozlov and Eriksson, you deal with putting more pressure on your defensive players. Mm-hmm. And you also put more pressure on your wingers because they have to pinch the blue line now. And they have to make sure that they can try to cause havoc, and get in the way of the passing lanes. You're going to be seeing a lot more urgency of block shots. Tocchet is going to say, look, everyone's got to get in front of the puck because right now this is all hands on deck. We can't let just random open shots onto these goaltenders because honestly, it's like if it's an open shot, it's a probably open goal. Like it might as well be an open net at that point. Like that's the difference. And right now, I look, the schedule ahead, is going to still be rough. And the only thing we can really hope for, and I still wonder about this too, is because we know with Villard, like what he's capable of. I want to rush him back so that we can make sure to get some wins if possible, because we're better with him than without him. But at the same time, if this is a team that's, prone to go to the playoffs, we need the guy in between the pipes when we get to the playoffs. And I don't want to risk losing him by rushing him back. As sucky as it sounds to have Erison and Kozlov, be the guys, and put more pressure on the rest of the team. I don't want to rush this guy back and cost us something, a potential first round, victory in the playoffs.
Well, I'll piggyback what you said about that too, because I think it's a valid point. 2 weeks ago, we were like, yeah, this team could not be stopped. I mean, we were just thinking that this team could be. I mean, that after that Carter-Gauthier game, it felt like, I mean, it happened so quickly, and that's the thing. I mean, I remember 2 weeks ago, we were thinking that this team could easily probably win 2 rounds, and basically like on the out, basically come playoff time, they couldn't be stopped. And I guess whatever team was next after that, it felt like they basically ripped the cover, basically ripped the notebook up and said basically, okay, the Flyers, you think you're big shots now, but wait. I mean, I think it was that Toronto game right after that, and I guess it was that overtime. I mean, actually, when they only scored 1 goal against the Maple Leafs, and I mean, it kind of basically after that, like it started to turn into a real bad tailspin for them. And the most important thing about
I think both Lightning games
that
really demoralized this team.
Yeah,
because they faced a team that is offensively a juggernaut, and they just got buried too quickly, too fast, and they couldn't figure out how to get out of that hole.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next question I wanted to ask you guys this too is, I think it's probably going to be obvious that we have to talk about here, but what I mean, it's one of those things I wanted to. I mean, is there a possibility that if the players come back from this injury, like the injury bug, like the Bobby Brinks, like you mentioned, Austin, and probably the list goes on, and probably after that Olympic break, I mean, is there still a chance that the Flyers could make the postseason? I mean, obviously, I'm trying to put some questions together here, but the way it looks right now, it could like really snowball into a really bad losing streak, like it is now. It actually could get worse, probably, but at the end of the Olympic break. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, I'll let Austin.
Joey, I'm sorry, Austin. You want to go? Or you want?
I mean, I do think it's very possible that you still have the capability to make a run when the Olympics is over, because there's the possibility of there being some guys that have hangover. We don't have many guys that got Olympic nods that aren't, injured. I mean, we have Sanheim for the Canadian team. Maybe Travis Konechny. I'm not too sure about that. I don't remember seeing his name on the list for Team Canada. But aside from him, it was Vladar. Vladar is now injured. And Rodrigo Abels, and he's now injured. So it's very possible that this team is getting, as unfortunate as it is to not be able to represent your own country come Olympic time, I don't think we're going to have many guys on an Olympic hangover. I think we're going to have guys that are going to be spending a lot of time trying to reset and refocus themselves. I mean, even during the practices leading into this Vegas game, like these guys have to be trying to refocus because you've been punched in the mouth big time with this losing streak. I think the smallest margin of victory in any of them was 3 goals, and it was a 5-2 loss, and then 2 6-3 losses. Like you started it off losing by losing in overtime, and then getting punched in the mouth, losing by 5 to Tampa, and then losing by 4 to Tampa. and then it's been 3 goal losses. You're getting pummeled out there. You need to try and figure it out as quickly and as manageably as possible, and just put that work in. Because at this point right now, go back to the fundamentals. I've talked about this a few times before. On a losing streak like this, you need to go back to playing fundamental hockey. Don't try and do anything too cute. Just play the game that you've been playing this whole year, regardless of who's in between the pipes. You need to get yourself back into a level mindset, because if this snowballs any further, it's going to really wreck the rest of the season for you.
For sure. Yeah. Joey, I'll ask you that same question. What do you think the standard for the Flyers will be at the end of the Olympic break?
Here's my thing is I agree with Austin. The idea that not a lot of these guys are getting called to go, play in the Olympics, it kind of helps, because we can rest, we can recoup, we can recharge, and then we can reunite. And with a lot of these other teams, and I mentioned this before when we were on last time, Austin went through, I believe it was Team USA's team. The idea that there was a lot of guys on a lot of the top teams in our division. And so, Carolina and it just Vegas, like these are teams that are good. They're sending players there. They'll stay warm and there's competition that they'll be dealing with, but they won't have a lot of rest between the time that they leave for the Olympics and the time they get back. So, it's the rest versus rust, but for the Flyers right now with these kids, I think they need to take the Olympic break, and they need to kind of reset their selves offensively, because I honestly think this team, and we've said this before, they're one of the deepest teams in the league as far as scoring. And so for me, it's like if you can reset and recharge that offense coming back from the Olympic break, then I think you have a strong chance, especially with Dan Villard and net, of being able to make a run at the playoffs, especially if other teams that are ahead of you have already had tired legs from their all-stars, from their Olympians, that they have tired legs. You're the one that's geared up, so you should be working with fresher legs. And I also think it will help with injuries. I mean, we talked about this with Tyson Forrester. I mean, he's going to miss the majority of this, if not all of this season. But there was this outside chance that he could make a return by the playoffs if we make the playoffs.
Right.
Now look, I'm not saying that that's going to be our saving grace, but what we need to do is see what we have in the roster that we have right now. And the 9-game stretch that we have right now is going to be the toughest, because we don't know if we have Dan Villard in net, and we know we're going to have a break, so we have to finish strong.
So here's the other thing too that surprises me the most with this Flyers team at this point. I mean, I hate to say the same old Flyers, like that's what Sylvan brought up with Jordan Hall on her Flyers Talk podcast during the week, but this is kind of like the same stuff we had to deal with last year too. It's kind of like, I mean, it's just same team, different coach, but same scheme, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, there was games like that they really didn't get it going. I mean, obviously the Penguins game was a real accident waiting to happen along with the Rangers. But for me, I mean, I would say that I should be worried about this team at this point, because the Flyers are not playing well. And you see like a team like the Sabres are in playoff contention now, when the Bruins are in playoff contention, and you see the Rangers finally getting their footing after a long, disappointing beginning of the season. And I feel like these teams that are starting to build up their team into getting into something, and I think that's what the Flyers need to do now. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, we still got a ton of games left before we can call it a season, but the losing streak, I mean, yeah, obviously there's a lot of losing streaks in the NHL in this day and age. I mean, that's why there's 82 games. You'll go on a streak, and sometimes you'll springboard into a little bit of a streak. Like like after you get this losing streak going. So I mean, obviously, you can twist and turn how you can, no matter how you slice it. But
Not
for me,
everyone's Colorado. Not
right,
everyone's
that's
Colorado.
right. That's the truth. I mean, what's funny too? I mean, I was going back and watching that game against Colorado a couple weeks back, and I said to myself, is that they were really in games that even though when they were losing games, and I remember I told you guys about this, like the way they were losing games, it was a positive loss that you can build on it. Now you got these games that 3 goals in a matter on 3 shots, and like you said, Joey, 4 goals in a matter of 3 minutes or so. It's like that. I mean, the one thing I give Brian Boucher a ton of credit here, because like Ashwin Sullivan brought it up on the post game on Saturday. He says the one thing that the Flyers have to do is that they have to probably win games like 1-0 or 2-1 just to get back into that streak again of winning games. I mean, that doesn't. I mean, he doesn't want anything fancy or anything, but the thing that the Flyers have to do, and I do agree with Bruce on this, is that if you want to get back into the role of winning again, you have to win games like either 1-0 or 2-1 just to basically springboard back into a little bit and that into a streak again. Because right now they definitely need answers.
Well, and Bush also said this on Saturday, and I agree with this, is that this team, for both the power play and the penalty kill, were both mid-tier earlier in the year. Now both are falling off.
Sure.
Like, it's about sustainability. And look, there are teams in this league that have that superstar. They have that franchise Connor McDavid kind of guy. We don't have that guy yet. And I know people want to say it's Mitchkov. I know people want to say it's Tippett. I know people want to say it's, Konechny. But here's the thing. None of those guys are that guy. Right now, we are resting our laurels on having a depth team. And that's fine because you can out-marathon anybody in this league. But the problem is in the short windows, you're going to possibly lose more than you win. And that's where in the short windows in the beginning of the season, we were winning the power plays. We were winning the penalty kills. Now we are faltering because we are losing players that, were key contributors to our depth. Tyson Forrester, Rustalainen, Bobby Brink, Drysdale. These guys are key. And the goaltender, and I said this, I don't know how many times last season. The goaltender is the backbone of your team.
Right.
If you do not have a good one in net, trust me, as a guy who used to play, if you don't have a good goaltender in net, man, it just puts so much more pressure on you, not just to play defense, but because you have to make every scoring opportunity perfect. Yeah. And sometimes if you're looking for the perfect play, you're not taking the opportunities that are there. You're just waiting for something perfect, and you're not taking the opportunities that are right in front of you to take.
Right. So I mean that's the other thing too here. And Austin, I'll ask you this question as we move on here. So you think about this Flyers team in general, the last couple weeks or so. Obviously, it's been a real struggle for them. And for me, I think we all agree on this room is that if this doesn't get fixed now, there's going to be a possibility that there could be some trade partners like Danny Briere could probably trade in the trade deadline when it comes closer. But overall, do you think the thing that I want to ask you here too is that do you think that the Flyers, I mean, obviously this stretch coming up this week against Vegas and the list goes on in the West Coast, I mean, this is going to be a tough stretch for them. But if you look at the hindsight being 2020, do you see there any spurts in this week that the Flyers could actually do to try to get back on track, even though they're struggling right now, like offensively and defensively?
I feel like a lot of it is going to come down to how they play in their transition game, because that's been a big key struggle point for them throughout the course of the year. They've been having they did have some stretches where they were transitioning really well, but like Joe said, the special teams falling off, a lot of that falls into the transition game, especially for the power play, being able to get forward, get established, and then be able to start, playing the way you're supposed to play
Sure.
up a man. Just in general, if you can make solid movement through the neutral zone, getting into the offensive zone to begin sort of setting yourself up, you have the opportunity for more success, because it starts with being able to move the puck. As long as you're able to move the puck, you're going to be able to get yourself into the zone. You're going to be able to start setting yourself up. You're going to be able to move the puck while you're already establishing possession in the zone, and it'll lead to good looks. You just have to be able to get the puck moving. And you played against a fistful of teams that are very solid at moving the puck.
Yeah, definitely.
And you showed that it's a lot tougher for you to defend it, but you also at the same time sort of, I guess you could say, you sort of collapsed in on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the things that you were decent at have been starting to show cracks in the armor.
Sure.
So it's again, it's going to come down to fundamental play, and the main thing that you start with is moving the puck.
Yeah.
If you can move the puck, you're going to be in, even if it's a mildly better position, it's a better position than you're currently in coming off of this losing streak that you're on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I feel like out of the 3 teams that you play this week, Utah might be your best bet at a win. Vegas is very strong. Colorado is a behemoth this year. Utah is no slouch either, though, and you can't really overlook them at all. But I feel like that will be your best opportunity to try and cheat out a win and try and get the mindset back into a positive side.
Right.
What do you think happens? What do you guys think happens if the Flyers take the opposite mentality, regardless of who's in that, and they go in and, let's say, either with Vegas or Colorado, and even through overtime or shootout or whatever, squeak out a win? I mean, what does that say when now look, I know how difficult something like that might be.
Sure.
It feels like you're pushing a 5,000-ton boulder up a hill. But if the Flyers were to do that, I mean, I think that the conversation has to be the resilience, and we've used that word more than once about this team, the resilience of this team not being willing to give up and lay down. I mean, I know Rick Tocchet. I know Tocchett's not going to just go into the locker room prior to both games and say, okay, guys, give it your best effort. Like, it's a good team. Don't get smoked by 5. Like, you know,
like don't like show their youth today or something like that. You
right.
know?
Like, don't take for granted that this team just shows up and gets the victory out of default.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Show up, give heart, put energy out there, and let's give them a fight, because they're going to expect you guys to just come in and take your beating like a man. And that's going to be interesting if either game becomes that close.
That's the thing too, Joe. I mean, that's where I'm at too, because you think about Vegas, obviously, and Vegas to me, it could be another Stanley Cup championship caliber kind of team come June or so, with Vegas' sake. But if you can be like, go back to the same, I mean, even like the games that they lost in the season, like I brought up earlier, like if they like fight with Vegas and then make it a game out of it and go back to the same routine that they once did, like a team like a Colorado early on in the season, and they just show effort. Like yeah, sure, they lose in overtime, but they get a point out of it. They get a shootout or get a couple points out of it in the shootout. That's where I want the Flyers to go back to, if you know what I mean. I want the Flyers to go back to that same level of capability that they had early on in this season, that games, when they lose games, it's not like, okay, you lose the game, but you showed effort. That's how the Flyers. You stole a point. Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what I want the Flyers need to do here tonight against Vegas. I guess on Tuesday or Wednesday when they take on Utah, and then Colorado. I mean, sure, Colorado's Stanley Cup caliber team. Those two could be in the conference final when it's all said and done. But for me, if you can get 1 or 2 wins, or either not 1 or 2 wins, but if you get overtime points out of it in Vegas and Utah and even in Colorado, then I would feel a lot better that the team is getting closer to getting back on track, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if they steal a point or two, and you know, Austin mentioned that they could possibly beat Utah and
Sure.
out of 3 games. If my expectations to have 2 points come out of these 3 games, that could go a lot of different ways. That could go, going to overtime and stealing a point from Vegas or Colorado and doing the same with Utah. Like it could be that, or it could be just beating Utah and getting your asses handed to you by Vegas and Colorado. It could go
Sure.
a lot of different ways, but I'm with you, James, that I need to see whether
Fight.
this team backs down or they put their fist up.
Right.
Yeah. Now, on the opposite hand, I would like to ask you guys a question.
Sure.
What do you think the state of the team becomes if we come out of this now looking down the barrel of a 9-game losing streak going into the Islanders at home on the 26th? What do you think that'll look like if that is what is to happen if this team just sort of continues to fall apart?
Yeah, Austin, that's a great question because if you think about it too, what the Flyers have done, obviously, the last handful of games, I mean, I would hope they go hopefully 1-1-1 if that's the right terminology. Like they win 1 in Utah, they lose 1 in Vegas, and then they get an overtime point out of it in Colorado. So that's how I kind of look at it right now at this point, because you think about it, I mean, they got to find a way to basically get back to what they were as a Flyers team early on in this season. That's the most important thing. I mean, what the Flyers have to do tonight, I mean, sure, if you get shelled by Vegas, come out tomorrow or Wednesday against Utah and come out and make a statement and say, okay, this streak has to end, and now we gotta basically, dare I say, Peter Laviolette's quote, play with some jam. We gotta find a way to fix this. But go ahead, Joe.
I mean, here's my thing. If we drop 3 more and we go into 9 and we go into the Islanders having lost 9, this is where the leadership, the guys that are the vets, the Sanheims, the Couturiers, the Konechny's, the people like that, they need to rally these kids, because it's easy to look down the barrel and be like, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were. And it's easy to feel that. It's easy to get that feeling and let it hang with you, especially. And this is why I say it's very important for us to just try to get as much out of the next 9 games as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is go into an Olympic break where you're sitting and you're just pondering whether or not you're as good as you think you are.
Right.
You want to go in saying, well, look, we gave Vegas a fight. We gave Colorado a fight. We gave Islanders a fight. Like you want to go into that break knowing you're going to sit, knowing that you're going to do what you're going to do for the next 2 weeks or whatnot, 2.5 weeks or whatnot. And you're going to say, look, we need to know who we are, what we are. Are we made of this team that, we fade away when it's times are tough? Look, times are tough. Villard is out of the net, and we got a backup NHL goaltender and a starting AHL goaltender to be between the pipes. We have to step up as a team collectively, and I think that if this 9-game stretch, if this turns into a 9-game losing streak, and then we still have 6 more left before the Olympic break, it concerns me a lot, because not just because of the state of the Flyers, but because of the state of the young minds that are on the Flyers.
Right. Yeah.
I guess currently sitting at the moment, currently sitting 4 points out of a playoff spot with Florida, Washington, Pittsburgh all ahead of you before you get into the top 8 with Toronto.
Right.
So you're still in striking distance, but there's so many variables right now with how this team operates that it's kind of hard to be able to pin it down. But I'm not trying to play the role of the pessimist here, but there is a reality where Philadelphia loses all 3 of these games just as bad as they've lost the previous 5. Absolutely. And it starts I feel like some people start to lift the lid off of that panic button. You know what I mean? Because another looking down the barrel of another 10-game losing streak after having 2 of them last year, multiple of them the year before that. Like,
crazy, right?
It starts to you start to get potential like PTSD flashbacks.
Sure, yeah.
Of what you've seen previously with this team. So it's just one of those things. Like, I just wanted to see where you guys would think the mentality would be as a fan, or even from Joe's experience as a player, like what the thought process is if you come out of that, trying to get your mind right and then just getting further punched in the mouth. Like, what does the mentality then become? Does it become trying to dig yourself out of the hole that you're in mentally, or is it trying to keep yourself level because any given night you can open up and it's just a matter of waiting for that gate to open and you just have to take those hits?
Right.
Well, look, as a guy who played hockey, I played with a much lesser schedule than 82 games. I think our season was only like 30, 32, something like that. It wasn't that long, right?
Sure.
So one of the things that I remember is the team that I was on, we went through like a 4 or 5 game losing streak, and I remember the captain coming in, and he was visibly upset. And these are kids. We're all kids. Like,
Yeah.
So the coach comes in, he sees the captain, he sees him throwing his helmet, he sees him throwing a tantrum, and the coach just grabs him by the scruff of the back of his jersey and says, "I understand you're upset. We're all upset. But the only thing we can do right now is focus on what's coming next."
Right.
And so you could sit here and be pissed off and be ticked off about this game. But next game, you better take all this anger, all this energy that you have throwing that helmet across the room, throwing your pads off. You better take all that energy and you better put it into next game, because if you
Right.
don't, call you on all this energy you're just wasting in this
Right.
locker room. And like, honestly, like, we went out and I think we beat the other team like 5-2 the next game.
Hmm.
And look, it had a lot to do with how you fire up the troops. It's about the mentality switch. I know people say it's like you flip a switch and you go. And no, it's not always that simple, but sometimes it's the matchup. And if you're able to flip that switch against the specific matchup,
Mm-hmm.
it works.
Yeah.
It definitely works. But you could go against the Vegas and think we're going to flip a switch, and that switch just gets stifled out. Like,
It just burns out again.
yeah, it just burns out. Like, you could get up on them by 2, and all of a sudden, you find yourself down by 2, and
Yeah.
you're like, how the hell did that happen?
Right.
And you're like, we can't beat this team. And that starts to, believe me, that is a genuine thing as an athlete. You
Sure.
start to believe that the things that you do, no matter how much and how well you do it, isn't
It's
good
not
enough
enough.
to beat
Yeah.
the other. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the big thing, is the mentality.
Yeah.
If you can transfer that negative energy that you're feeling and be able to work it into positive result to help sort of shift that mindset back around, it can be big, especially like we're talking here, 9 games away from an Olympic break.
Right.
If you can come out, and especially against a team like the Vegas Golden Knights, man, what are they sitting like? I think they're sitting 4th in the Western Conference right now at 60 points. Like, if you come out and you punch these guys in the mouth, man, the confidence is going to go through the roof.
For sure.
Because that lets you know it's not that we were not good enough. It's that we just didn't play the way we were supposed to.
Right.
Now
Sometimes this is where the grinders need to kind of.
Yes.
You would think that
But the Doriers have to wake up, and the Hathaways.
Yeah.
Because you would think it's the scorers. The scorers are good. They're always going to be there. But when the grinders start to get into the opponent's face and start intimidating some of their stars, it starts to, like, because the grinders are the back end of the roster. So when they start to like show spine, show gusto, show balls, it's like all of a sudden the rest of the team's like, okay, all right, we got us, we got some toughness, we got some grit right now. Plus, if you with those tough guys, with those grinders, if you're able to have them provoke like one of the star players for the other team, and believe me, I know because I was in that position before. And look, all it takes is a face wash. All you have to do is just get in their face and just make it clear to them, I'm not going away. I'm not going to go away from bothering you. And that guy is eventually going to lose his shit and just drop the gloves.
Right.
And that's the difference, is that you get that guy in the box, all of a sudden this game changes. And that's why I brought up penalty kill. That's why I brought up power play.
Right.
They have to initialize their advantage by creating a disadvantage for the other team.
You know, it's a valid point, though. I think the one thing that the Flyers have to do tonight, I think you're right, Joe. I think that's exactly what the Flyers need, is somebody like a Nick Delorier or Garnett Hathaway just to get underneath a player's skin, either it's Vegas or Utah or if it's Colorado, and just make a statement. That's the thing. I mean, they have to come into this game tonight like your season's on the line, basically. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And another guy that's been really good at getting under people's skin on this roster, Travis Konechny used to be a talker, man.
That's right.
He used, pardon my language, but he used to chat so much shit, dude. Like, he used to bother people. I haven't seen it a lot this year.
Nah, I haven't seen it either, man.
I feel like if I'm talking and I need some sort of a spark, I bring TK and Garnett Hathaway in, and I go, you point at TK, I go, start running your goddamn mouth. And then point to Hathaway, you start throwing your goddamn hands. The gas is built up. We need a spark to light this flame. You two are the guys that should do it.
Absolutely.
TK, because you're on the leadership side, you should start getting under someone's skin on the other team and make them bothered, and let your team be like, yeah, we will fight. And then like Garnett Hathaway be like, oh, you want to fight? All right, cool.
Right.
That there, the perfect combination. That TK's the air, the emotion is the gas. Hathaway is the spark.
Right.
That is literally what you need right now to get this team back into a good mentality and into feeling themselves again.
Yep.
Now, when you have that spark, then you hand that spark, that flame, off to guys like Owen Tippett and Zegras and Mitchkov and all. Yeah, you hand that flame to them and you go with it. Like, let's see how far we can light this baby up, because that is going to be the big difference. It's these guys, these teams are automatically going to think, okay, we outclass these guys by a lot. Okay, but any team that outclasses the other, there's always, in hockey, there's always a chess match. And that's the difference. You gotta take these games and you gotta stop playing checkers and just saying it's going to be puck for puck, shot for shot. It's got to be a chess match. It's got to be like, we're going to get in your head so much that you are going to make mental mistakes. And you are going to give us opportunities on the power play. You are going to give us opportunities where you are going to be at the clear disadvantage. And that's going to open up opportunities for this team to show what they got, especially with Zegras, especially with Bark, especially with, Tippett, especially with Mitchkov. These guys are all guys ready and chomping at the bit. Okay, give them the opportunity to take advantage of it. But you got to do it where it's not 5-on-5. This has to be, you have to tilt the ice your direction by taking someone off the ice from them.
Well, we got a comment here. I don't know if it's a troll saying this, but he says, Mitchkov for Lafayette, Alexei Lafayette from the Rangers. So,
the Rangers wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I could see like Vancouver.
They've invested a lot in Alexis Lafreniere over there. I mean, granted,
yeah,
they just had to put that thing out before they absolutely dog walked us, talking about how they're retooling again.
Yeah.
But
I'll say this right now.
That team is crazy talented.
Oh yeah.
Well,
they got a lot of talent.
And they're going to be in a pickle, though.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers are going to be in a pickle because Perrin has a no trade clause, and he's a free agent at the end of the season. He doesn't have to go anywhere, and they may not get any assets back for him.
Exactly.
Zibanejad is sitting here saying that he's satisfied. He wants to see how this grows, but the Rangers organization says if we can get younger assets for you, we're going to do it. And he also has a no trade clause. So this is a team that is in a pickle because they have a talented roster, but in some ways they want to do addition by subtraction. And it's fine. You've seen it happen, with Minnesota, and you've seen it happen with Vegas, and you've seen it happen with the Islanders. Like, addition by subtraction sometimes helps. But like, I'll tell you this right now, that Rangers team, they better make the best of this situation this year, because they may not have even close to the type of team that next year.
Right.
And you want to talk about teams that are doing addition by subtraction. There was a rumor mill that was going out about Sidney Crosby and about the Philadelphia Flyers. And I don't know if that's just smoke.
That's probably like AI shit they're gonna make. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No. I heard this from a reputable source from what was it?
Elliot Freeman?
No, he does the Bleacher Report.
Oh, he is a Ranger fan. Okay.
A Bleacher Report podcast for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he was talking about how they're shopping Sidney Crosby, and three of the top teams that were interested in Sidney Crosby were the Philadelphia Flyers, the Buffalo Sabres, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, something like that. And I'm like, well, please God, don't let him go to the Maple Leafs.
Well, I hate to say it right now, that might be the best choice for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
Buffalo.
Him, yes.
Buffalo. I don't know about Buffalo though. That's the thing. I can't understand with Buffalo. They've been like horrible for years, and I think Toronto will be the place to go because he's from Canada. Obviously, he'll probably want to stay closer to Canada. I mean, that's probably.
I think he wants to do a victory tour up in Canada. I think that's the reason why they're saying
he's kind of like Brady. He wants a Tom Brady. Yeah, win one more championship, but this time it's where his home base is.
Yep.
Yeah, very possible that could happen.
It could be.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I know
him and Matthews together. Ooh, man.
Yeah, I know there were actually a couple of trades around the league yesterday. The Golden Knights got Rasmus Anderson from the Calgary Flames for Zach Whitecloud, and then a conditional first in 27 and a conditional second in 28.
Man.
And then the other one was San Jose getting Kiefer Sherwood from the Canucks. What was the deal for that? AHL defenseman Cole Clayton and second round picks in 26 and 27 going to Vancouver from San Jose. Man,
Vancouver's just like quick. It looks like Vancouver is like trying to sell. Looks like.
They've lost 10 straight.
That's true.
Yeah, dead last in the West. They're not looking great this year, and they have some assets they'll probably be selling come deadline time.
Yeah, I have to say, but this seems like the way.
I wonder if Besser is available. I wonder if the Force will try to do to bring in Besser.
Maybe, but like with Vancouver, it seems like what the Flyers have been doing the last year or two, with accumulating draft picks and assets and stuff like that. It seems like Vancouver is kind of doing the same thing. It seems like they're just trying to replenish the coffers with some of the draft picks and hope
trying
for
to
the
load
best.
up for a rebuild potentially.
Yeah,
there must be a big draft. There must be big classes coming out in 26 and 27 for all these teams. For all these teams to be stockpiling like they are.
Yeah,
It's funny because I remember I think it was another team that was on the outside. I think it was probably like San Jose against Sherwood actually could help out Celebrini and Will Smith a lot, like on his defensive front, kind of give a little bit of a spark plug with him. If Vancouver's trading away assets, I would go after Philip Hronek from to get a defenseman in here. I like
Hronek is really good. Don't they have JT Miller out there?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they do.
JT Miller would be a decent add. More. Even like a middle six, lower six guy to help sort of bolster the back end of the top 12 would be a really good add. Like you said, a Philip Hronek would be a solid defenseman that you could probably make a call or two about. I mean,
maybe get in Thatcher Demko. Yeah. I mean, get Demko if you need a goaltender.
Oh gosh, Demko would be huge. Demko Vladar as your battery, dude.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that would be a good mix.
That would be deadly.
Sign me up. Sign me up now. Sign me up now.
I would have dreams about that, dude.
Oh yeah, I put that on my NHL like my NHL roster, man.
Yeah,
I mean seriously, man. Yeah, dude.
Goof around with that and Hronek out there on.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. And Besser. God. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah. Besser would put this team over the top.
Oh hell yeah,
I agree. That's a lot to give away to get a guy like.
Yeah, you probably have to trade away like a Konechny or
because he's locked in.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, signed him to a big extension a couple years ago.
I gotta ask, is because we're gonna have a lot more shows between now and March 6th, which is the trade deadline for the NHL. I gotta ask. I mean, is Sean Couturier even on your thoughts on the trade block? Because
he might.
If you could get a guy like what you're talking about, James, for a Couturier and a second and a third,
to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, kick the can around a little,
or even to a team that's looking to win now and they want to add somebody for their second or third line. Couturier would be good. Would be a decent add for a team in that kind of position. Maybe potentially even a Vegas if they need to get a second or third line center.
Yeah,
or potentially
maybe
like a third line center,
not Vancouver,
third line center
probably Winnipeg.
Yeah, like a third line center with the proficiency in the power play unit. A team that's looking to win, if you're willing to sell, they would definitely look to pick up a guy like a Sean Couturier and Noah Cates. Even if you're willing to shop them, like maybe like a Jamie Drysdale would be somebody that like a team could use as like a really good offensive defenseman who can play the puck very well. That's a guy that you could potentially shop to get capital to go, chase after maybe a Brock Besser or a Philip Hronek or even add to the battery like we were saying with like a Thatcher Demko kind of or just some sort of extra mid-flight goaltender that you can add to bolster the battery. Just any of those kinds of pieces. Like there's a lot of potential as we get closer to March 6th, and we'll see how the season plays out to let you to even sort of further either commit to the sell or to the buy. So there's a lot of variables going forward. And as of right now, I feel like if you could, Vancouver they look like they're putting up the white flag, man.
Yeah, they're waving the white flag.
So I'm going to ask, because Austin, you bring up a very valid point. Right now, if today was March 5th, right now, where the Flyers are you buyers or are you sellers?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I feel like you dip your feet a bit in both because you're within 6 points of a playoff spot, and you have some guys that you could potentially sell to a team that has that potential to make that run, and then get that stuff in return, and then be like, you know what, 11th hour, boom, take those same assets to somebody else, get someone back in return to help you make your push in.
See,
I would.
Go ahead, James.
I would be. I think I'm in the same boat as Austin. I think I'll take a flyer on both. To see what your assets are.
Yeah, I'm with both of you. I think that I would go and get like some minor league assets, maybe even like a guy that I think that another team would like, and almost flip almost kind of like we did with the one guy last year. The Russian that we got that played with Mitchkov, that we kind of flipped. Yeah, so what we kind of did there, but
Kuzmenko.
Yeah. So like kind of what we did with him, but in a different way. We did just with Kuzmenko, we just did draft picks. We just flipped him for more draft picks.
Right.
What I would do is pick a guy that I know another team wants, and if we have the assets to get him, then hold him for ransom against the team that we really want to go get a quality player from. This is a lot of what people had talked about in the NBA when Bronny came out, is that people were going to, because they knew that LeBron James and the Lakers were like, we're going to get Bronny because it means so much to LeBron James. A lot of the teams were going to draft Bronny despite his, poor collegiate career, that they were going to draft Bronny and basically hold him for ransom to see what they could get out of the Lakers. Now, you could do the same thing if you're the Flyers with a guy that you think is going to be a highly touted player that could go to a team or is desired by a team that may not have the assets, like someone like the Carolina Hurricane or the Florida Panthers or Winnipeg Jets. Some of these guys don't have as many assets as far as draft capital as we do. So if we're able to go, if maybe they're not able to go and get the guy that they want, but we are, okay, all of a sudden we have leverage on them. We say, okay, we have the guy you want. This is who we want. And you go get assets that can help us now.
Interesting.
Kind of like Minnesota did with Hughes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think Minnesota's going to be a really good team come playoff time, guys.
Oh, yeah, and not only this year, but for the next couple of years. They've set themselves up.
Definitely. So we're about to wrap up here for this week's This Week in Flyers Hockey Show. You guys got anything to add before we say our final goodbyes until next week?
Steal any points you can. Try to gain momentum. Drop the gloves. Punch someone in the face. Whatever you got to do. Steal points.
Steal points any way necessary. Austin, you got anything, bud?
Yeah, it's grind time. You're about to go into Olympic break. You need to come off on a good foot.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I would love to see. I mean, dare I say this? I mean, I like it like a 5 seconds in and get a scrap in. Just drop the gloves and just drop the gloves against like whoever they are. Just be like a full on Johnstown Chiefs slap shot. Like 5 seconds in and just drop the gloves.
the old Devils Flyers where like someone's talking trash coming in during warm-ups and all of a sudden you got like melee.
Yeah,
like,
Brashear and or Riley Cote dropping the gloves.
Like okay.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of This Week in Flyers Hockey. I want to thank Austin Hammel and Joey like they always do. Austin, where can people see you next, my good friend?
Over at twitch.tv/Hambo26. I am back into running Resident Evil 4 Remake because a friend of mine started playing it, so I'm back running that. And also just being the most no action, deal all the damage with doing nothing Paladin in Diablo 4.
Right.
It's been ridiculous. It's only getting worse.
Oh no!
I walked through a whole area. I'm on almost. I think I'm 3 stages down from the hardest difficulty in the game.
Right.
And I'm walking around and not doing any, like not hitting a button to activate any of my actual skills. I'm just walking and then stopping, and just sheer aura damage is killing everything.
Oh no!
Just passive damage.
Oh man, that sucks.
Brutal. It is so brutal. It's insane. I love it. It's the exact same build that I ran in Diablo 2 back in the day. So most of the time, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So I literally was tracking the Bills Broncos game while I was grinding levels in Diablo, and all I did was stand still for 35 minutes.
Oh my god!
And enemies just kept coming at me and dying.
Wow.
So I have Diablo 4 on my screen up here just in the background. I'm here on ESPN. I have a stream up. I'm tracking the stats and stuff, talking with a couple of friends, and I go,
Sure, yeah.
Oh, crap, dude, Diablo. My health is still completely full. Like,
oh wow, that's not bad.
I'm feeling damage and gaining the health back. So
Sure,
I'm just standing there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It reminds me of like one time. So I played Grand Theft Auto 5, and there's a car that's kind of like the DeLorean,
great
where
game.
and you can fly in it and all. So I'm flying in it, and all of a sudden I'm like, I got like something else on, and all of a sudden I'm just like take my attention off of it, and like 30 minutes later I go back and the DeLorean's still like just hovering, and I've like traveled like all the way across the map, and I'm like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, like I look at the screen, the reverse angle, and my character's like asleep at the wheel. Like I'm like, okay, we're up in the air in the middle of the ocean. Like, can we not
Hell
sleep at the wheel? Like, all right, let's get back on track here. So
Definitely.
I wake him up, we fly back into the city, and then all of a sudden, like my phone starts blowing up with all these missions, and I'm thinking, okay, where the hell was this about 20 minutes ago?
Yeah,
right.
It's like a phone could have like kind of pulled my attention back to the game versus watching television. I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
But yeah.
So Joey, we got it coming up very, very soon. We don't know what the date yet. We'll air it, but we got a special guest joining us on these Flyers podcast coming up very soon in February.
Yeah. So we have Jim Jackson, play-by-play guy for the Philadelphia Flyers, coming on. We're going to be interviewing him on the 6th. Then we're going to air it on our show, the Patterson Ave Sports Show, on Valentine's Day, and then we're going to air it, I believe it's 16th of February.
It's President's Day the next time for this week of Flyers hockey too. So it'll be a fun interview. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. So we'll re-air it there. Then for anyone that had missed it with Patterson Ave Sports Show, we'll re-air it then. I mean, having JJ on is always a fun time. And he always brings a lot of good insight into what's going on with the Fly guys. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Flyers do moving forward in the next 9 games and what JJ will have to say about the state of the Flyers in his mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And we'll be looking forward to hearing from JJ on February 6th, and then we'll hear from you guys. I mean, obviously we'll be back next week or so, but we'll be preparing that more and more as we get inch closer and closer. By the way, if you are a new member or just a member already or just a previous member, hit that like and subscribe button on Hardcore Sports Network and also Streampunk Entertainment Pennsylvania. So, it's been a great show. Thanks for everybody for watching. We really do appreciate it on this week's edition of This Week at Flyers Hockey. Now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone that made it work here, for Joey, I guess we lost Joey. So for Austin and everybody else here, hopefully it's no Verizon outages like it was during the week. But until then, from all of us to all of you, good night, good hockey, and we'll see you guys next week at the same time. And boys, have a good day, everybody.